All right, welcome to the Relentless Game, turning chaos into power. Today, me and Christian here are going to talk about, guys that complain about time, that they have a time issue. I don't have enough time to work out. I don't have enough time to get these things done that I need to get done. And what I've found over the years that it's not a time issue as much as it's an energy issue. That when you don't have the energy, then you won't wake up wanting to work out. You won't wake up and you won't go into play with your kids and go that extra mile. You won't have those tough talks. You won't show up in the boardroom or the bedroom like you need to. And this compounds because the big problem is like we put the focus on it being time. Like, oh, well, this is a time problem. And what baffles me with a lot of it is like I think back and I think like, how are the individual, we all get the same amount of time in the day. How come some of these individuals here get so much more done when these people here that don't have, or these guys here that don't have the same things on their plate, they're not accomplishing as much, and it's not a time. So I think that's the first piece of it is it's like we've got to identify the lies that we're telling ourselves. Time is not the issue. It's an energy issue. But start to identify, like, with having more energy, how you would show up differently if you did have more energy, the things that you could accomplish, and now you start to feel like it, where a majority of the time you don't feel like it. So with anything we do is like we live by a code, and that code is like, hey, I'm going to get to the real facts of the situation. And then once I get to the real facts, I can start to lean on my feelings. Like those raw feelings can then direct me in a direction of getting the relevant focus that I need to have to start to change things. Either I am moving in that direction that I want to, and my focus is in the right direction because my feelings are great about, I feel like I'm making progress and I'm seeing progress from the facts, and it makes me feel good. And I can see that my focus has been on the things that need to propel me and to take me to this next level. Or when I look at the facts, my feelings are down on what the facts are. It makes me feel like I'm not doing what needs to be done. And then that's obviously that focus is taking you to another level there. And then obviously both of those are going to give us some type of results or fruit. So I think the big focus here is it's not an energy or not time issue as much as it's the energy issue. And that's exciting because now you can actually change something. Yeah. So when I say energy, what do you think most guys do right when they think that they need more energy? What do you think the guys that don't know and they don't have that skill set of understanding, what do you think that it is that the first thing they lean on when it's like, no, I need more energy? What do you think that is?
Working out.
I think, well, I mean, like, what do you think they go? What do you think they go to? Like, I think the first thing is like they go to an energy. They go like the energy drinks or
trying to get a shortcut to something that you're gonna
coffee. Yeah, well, it's more coffee, energy drinks, but also the energy drinks that are full of sugar. When first thing in the morning, like if you're going and you're grabbing a high carbohydrate meal first thing in the morning time and having those biscuits and things like that, like
those things just lead to crash later in the day.
Yeah.
So then, you think you're getting time back first thing in the morning, but then you're just going to crash middle of the day. You want to nap, you're unproductive. And so that time that you thought you gained, you're going to lose later on in the day if you're not doing it, the natural way.
Yeah, as well. And I think too that the big piece of it is like we've got to get to the root of the problem. And you said that before was the sleep side of it. Like what are we doing in the evening time to set our morning up for us to win? If your evening time is, hey, I'm going to have a few drinks before bed, to kind of relax because I've had a long day, or you're staying up later on your phone, scrolling on your phone. You're staying up later watching TV, and you're not having you're staying up and you're snacking, you're eating a bunch of crap and stuff like right before you go to bed. And with integrity, like I've made these mistakes before. Like it's not something that I'm speaking where I don't know. I know what could happen, what could change it. And for me, it's that awareness. Once I can become aware of like, oh, this is impacting, and it comes from like hiring coaches to kind of point me in the right direction, but also it comes from just learning yourself and seeing like the data that way of like, oh, when I didn't eat right before bed from my Whoop band, I could see that I got more quality sleep,
Yeah.
or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I was just going to say, think of all the men that we've worked with, and if that is an area of struggle is sleep, and we go, well, what do you do before bed? They never have a same game plan of like,
Yeah.
oh, I washed my face, I brushed my teeth, I stopped drinking an hour before I go to bed. They don't have those non-negotiable guidelines that they do every single day. It's just kind of like, well, I don't know. They start to think about it. And so it's like, if we're not consistent in what we do before bed, we're not going to get consistent sleep. And therefore, we're not going to wake up and do the things consistently that we got to do whenever we wake up in the morning. You wake up, you're tired, you're dragging. And so if there's no consistency there, then you can't expect to be able to show up on another level and have consistency in other areas of your life.
You know, it's the intentionality of kind of what you're saying is like having that attention to be put your attention on your intentions. And so now you go, okay, this is what I need to do in the evening time, and I need to have these little tweaks that I could start to make where you start going like, hey, but you know what, like 3 hours before bed I'm gonna quit eating things. 2 hours before bed I'm gonna quit drinking. I'm gonna have no drinks or whatever. 1 hour before bed I'm gonna put the screen time away and the phones away and the TVs or whatever, and trying to down regulate and let yourself get to a place to where you can wake up. And now when you wake up, it's the next thing is what we got to put our attention on. Is like, what's your morning routine look like? Like, what are you doing first thing in the morning? You know, I'm real big on like, hey, I'm going to get in the Word first thing in the morning, and get in and find some wisdom from the Word that I can start to put to work that day. I'm going to get in, do a stack. I'm going to make sure I'm getting enough water and before I have any caffeine, and then start making some different decisions. Now it changes all the time with me right now. I'm like waking up and 30 minutes of, cardio, like, which is not something I'd usually do. And I'm getting on the treadmill and start to look at and trying to get my cardio in and things like this. And so it's just having this game plan. And like we talked about, we've actually just did a live over it on our Facebook page, was that plan creates that discipline. And then now you work that plan for the evening time, you work that plan for the morning time. And now you start to create this discipline because you bookend those two pieces right there. You get those two pieces locked in, and you start to realize how much more you can get accomplished and how much more you can get done in the day.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yeah. Well, I love what we do at the GA. And whenever you start us out, you took me through the introductory and you're like, bro, just hit your core four.
Yeah.
And that core four would give me, it was almost like a launch pad for me to get things done during the day, because that's something that I was in control of. There's a lot of stuff in life we're not in control of, but one thing I can do on a daily basis is hit my core four. And so first thing in the morning, all right, I got to get my fuel. So for me, it was taking my vitamins and then getting 12 ounces of water in. Boom, check off my fuel, got it down. And then next, the Bible stack. I got to get my Bible stack done. And so me hitting those little tasks to hit my core four gave me the energy and fired me up to be able to get things done that I needed to get done. And just showing yourself like, oh, check that off. And then it gives me that energy, and it just makes me hungry and makes me just want to get things done. But proving to yourself that you can get those things done is what just helps give you that, almost like you gain time back because of the energy.
Yeah, a couple things you said there is, I think what the biggest thing with the core four is it's having predictable power. Yeah. That if like when you wake up that, hey, I've got to move a little bit. 10 minutes, just a movement, stretching, whatever it may be. 10 minutes, I need to move a little bit. And then you have, hey, I'm going to have 30 ounces of water before I have caffeine, or I'm going to have my supplements before and drink some water before, whatever it is for you. And it's different for everybody. But then having it where it's gamified. So like now you're getting actually a half a point for that fuel, that half a point for that fitness side of it. Now you're sending a couple messages out to other individuals, showing some love and appreciation. So shifting your focus off of you and shifting it on other individuals. You go and you are getting in the Bible and taking a little bit of time to slow things down in the morning time. And here's the thing is like, and now we take that, what we learned, and go into the Bible stack. Or if you're not doing a Bible stack, it may be just question the thoughts that you're telling yourself. Look, what kind of emotion are you feeling right now? Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling rage or irritation or sadness or guilt or whatever it is? And it could be the opposite of that. It could be gratitude and happy and things like that too. Is like, but let's go and let's dive deeper on like, how are we, this emotion that we're feeling, like what is the facts around those emotions that we're feeling? Now we've like starting to question the stuff that's going on in our head. And then the last piece of it is just like, hey, let's work on a skill set. What is something I can discover, I can read that's a skill set, a podcast, something I can listen to and take some type of lesson from it, and take that lesson from it and apply it to my life, but also explain it and teach it to someone else. Now you're learning it on a whole nother level. But then you get that piece though too, where we're getting the app, and now you get to hit those buttons of, hey, I hit my half a point, hit my half point, hit my half point. Now I'm like ready to rock and roll and ready to win the day as far as that goes. And that's where we start to set that side of it up to where now you're aware of how your mind's the happiest when it's seeing progress, and you're seeing progress because you have that predictable power, because what we know is that life is going to throw something at you. That when you leave that door, if you hit your core 4 before you leave the door, now you've got almost a shield that's stopping anything that's coming at you. It's blocking it. And so you can handle the situation. If on the other side of it, we don't have a shield and we're shielding it with a biscuit or whatever it may be and trying to block stuff off, it's like you're not going to have that energy and that focus, that certainty and that confidence to go into your day and do the work that's required. And you're going to let the circumstances dictate your day and how your day goes from there as well. So it starts to build upon that.
Yeah. Before I felt this way too before I started working with you in the GA, as far as I've had things that I wanted to do, but it was just here. Mm-hmm. And then, 5-6 months down the line, I'm like, man, I really want to do that, but I never got it done. And that's where a lot of guys feel like they don't have enough time. It's because they're wasting so much time in the day and they have zero clarity on the things that I have this big goal, but what steps do I need to take to get to that? You got to have things that help get you there. If you want to go to the moon, you can't just say, hey, I want to go to the moon. It's like, well, we got to have steps. We got to hop in this spaceship. We got to align all these things to help us get there. And so it's having clarity on that goal and what am I going to do to get there? And that's what I love about what we do in the GA is we plan out our week on Sunday. So I already know what task I need to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When I open my app, there it is. Boom. There's the 4 things I got to get done. So then there you go. I'm efficient with my time, and being efficient with your time is that's how guys are successful. Like you said, the most successful people in the world, it's like, man, they don't have any more time than you do in the day, but they have clarity on the things that they want to do and they get things done.
I think that's the next piece is like, well, now we've got predictable power to, like, we're doing what we need to do in the evening time to set ourselves up to wake up in the morning time, to knock out these tasks that take 30 to 45 minutes to an hour in the morning time that give us that predictable power. Now I got that predictable power. Now what? Now the next piece from there is like, okay, getting clarity, kind of like you were saying, is getting clarity on the man that you're trying to become. And so that guy that's at the top of the peak that I'm trying to get to, what is it about that guy that is different than me right now? What does that guy eat? What's that guy drink? What's that guy look at? What's that guy doing during the day? What's that guy's evening routine look like? What's that guy's morning routine look like? Now we're starting to get some ideas of like, okay, this is the guy that I'm trying to go after. But here's the next piece that most guys mess up with is they're so focused on that guy at the top of the peak that they are right where they are at this point in life, and they're starting their day. They're focused on how far they have to go. And when we're focused on how far we have to go, then it's a long, daunting, like it's going to suck if you don't have that energy, you don't feel like it. It's not fun. And so then you look at how far you have to go. But if we do the opposite and we just turn around and see like, okay, well, look at the progress I made. I went to bed on time. I'm making good decisions on my food. I'm making good decisions on my evening routine, on my morning routine. I'm doing the things that need to be done. And then start to look at and start to go, okay, well, what is it like? What's reasonable for me just to start working towards right now? That, yeah, I'd like to run a half marathon. Okay. And for example, I'm just saying that, putting it out there. I want to run a half marathon. But if you're somebody that's never ran before, maybe we just need to start working on our stretching and mobility and flexibility and going for a mile run or doing a couch to 5K. And start doing this consistently over a course of 2 to 3 months. Yeah. Now we start to get some momentum going, and then it's like, okay, well, what's radical? What's the next step, the next level that I need to go to? What has to change now? What do I have to do to work towards now? But you're making progress because you have clarity on the man that you're trying to become, but you also have clarity on where you're starting at as well. So it can be real easy to blame it on time when you are looking at that guy at the top of the peak and going, okay, well, how am I ever going to get there? And the next thing you know, you don't take any kind of action at all. Yeah. And the next thing you know, time has gone and it's passed by and you feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm so far behind. Yeah. And then it starts to pile on, and now mentally it's draining you. Physically, you're drained because you feel like you're not making progress. And so that's all we're doing with inside the Guerrilla Alliance is we're getting guys that know that deep down their God-given skills that they have and the man that God created them to be, getting some clarity on who that guy is, but then having some predictable power in the morning so that you can start your day on fire and clarity and ready to roll. And then you have in each area of your life, not just in fitness, but you have in your relationships that you want to accomplish. You have something in your, we're fixing to launch the Relentless Faith online Bible experience. That was something a year ago at this time that I was talking about, like wanting to do it online, but having no clue how I was going to get there. So what it started with was it's like, hey, I'm going to start going to a Bible study. Yep. I'm just going to go to a Bible study. That's the first place. Then the next thing you know, that radical opens up on its own. So, but you took the first step. So like it was like January of last year, I was like, hey, I'd like to do an online Bible study. And I look at that and I'm going like, man, to be transparent, like I've never even been to a Bible study. Okay, well, how about instead of trying to launch an online Bible study now, how about we just start working towards going to a Bible study? Then I go to that. Now I'm starting to get some frameworks. Now my mind's starting to wrap around how it would work. I'm starting to see things different. And then I start to go, okay, well, that's awesome. And I'll do this and I'll follow through with this. And then the next piece is almost laid out in front of you. So like, I think a lot of guys, they want to be able to know what the next step is. And sometimes if you know where you want to go, it's just like knowing where you need to start. And then once you start to get to where you want to start and you start that process, then the next process is laid out in front of you. And that's when Isaac came to me and was like, hey, I'd like to do a Bible study here at the gym. And we'd like to work out after. Something we can potentially do. And I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. Now it was laid out. Now we've done that for 6 months or so, or 7 months or whatever it's been. We've done that every month. And now it's gone to 2 days out of the month that we're doing it. And it's building. And then now it's like clear to me, like, okay, now I know how the Bible study works. I know what that looks like. Now how would I tweak that to be able to do it online, to be able to get it out to guys and to get them there and to start. Now we've got that process already there. But it is draining when you start to focus just on, this is where I'm going. I'm going here. I'm going at the very top of that peak there. And it's like, but I don't have any of the necessities that I need, the clarity or what has to happen, what needs to change. Who do I have to start becoming to get to that guy? None of that changes if we don't start to get that clarity of where we are right now. And so, is it going to be perfect every day? Absolutely not. There's going to be problems. There's going to be issues. There's going to be frustrations. There's going to be things that you said you're going to get done, and the next thing you know, some type of obstacle or problem came. But by just getting that clarity on, like, okay, doesn't have to be all done today, and I am seeing progress, and I'm making progress, and I am getting better, and I am learning. Now we can start to shift and start to go in the direction that we want to go.
Yeah, one of my favorite verses in the Bible talks about tomorrow will worry about itself.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on today. And that's where we get stressed out, because we're looking at, man, on Friday, it'll be Monday. Man, on Friday, I got to go do this. I got to go do that. And like, you're wasting so much time thinking about what you got to do on Friday that you're not getting what you need to get done on Monday to set you up for success and give you confidence going into Friday. And so, biggest game changer for me was stacked days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just look at what I got to do today. Don't even worry about tomorrow. And I used to be somebody that was like that. Like, I had so many things that I was thinking about in the future, and it would just stress me out. And then once I built that relationship with the Lord too, doing the stacks in the morning, I prayed and asked God, like, God, just help me not be so stressed out about those things. Like, let me just stay in the moment. And then that was freeing. It was like just breaking chains off of me, and I was just more productive of a person, because I just worried about what I got to do today. Get done what you got to do today, and then what I got to do the next day, and just having that clarity. Look at like the weekly calls we do in the GA, like us building up that point system through the core 4, and then doing our, achieving our daily stuff that we got to achieve, and focusing on the door and the keys and all that. Like, you see that number at the end of the week, and that number was a product of what we did day by day by day. And so, just stack days is the biggest advice I can give.
Yeah, no, I think one of the things you said there, though, that, and this is something I experienced when I went through that lawsuit, was an 18-month lawsuit. Like, you're looking at, and you want to get everything done like yesterday, like you want it to be over with. But having that faith of like, hey, you know what? I don't know what tomorrow's going to be, and I don't have to worry about tomorrow. That's what I always say is, it's like the biggest hack, the biggest cheat code that you can have in life is having that faith of just like, hey, I just got to worry about what I need to worry about today. So I just got to worry about the foods I'm putting in my mouth. Are they going to give me and set me up to win? Or are they going to set me up to lose? And the way I like to look at that is kind of like what we were talking about with the gamification side of it, and having the gamified way of looking at it is a lot of the decisions that I make is like, right here, right now, the decision I'm about to make, is that decision going to add a point to my scoreboard, or is it going to subtract a point? And every decision that you have in front of you, it just goes there like, okay, well, that Gatorade Zero that I'm drinking right now, hey, it's better than drinking a full sugary Gatorade. That's a plus point. I get to add that to it. Yep. Hey, that workout that we just got done, hey, that's a half a point. That's a plus point. That goes to my. But then when we do fall off and we do make decisions that aren't aligned with what we want, because we're not going to be perfect, subtract that point, but then learn from it, find a lesson from why it happened and what was the problem and what was the circumstance that made you make that decision, and then shift from it. I think a big piece of that too is like, yeah, you need to have faith, obviously. But I think also the other side of that is having different perspectives from different guys, having accountability. And then like having someone that is going to ask you, like, cause today we'll have a call at 4:00, and I'm going to look at the scoreboard, and I'm going to be able to see like the guys that showed up and did what they said they were going to do. And I'm going to be able to see the guys who didn't. Yep. And for me, I want to be the guy who's like always like at that top, where it's like, hey, I'm in the top 3, and I'm always going to do what I said I was going to do. I'm always going to follow through and get better and improve and do the little things. And when you start to just like own that, like who I am, this is who I am, this is how I show up. It's like, you don't become that overnight. It becomes a daily practice of you showing up and doing the things you said you were going to do that starts to build that self-confidence that, yeah, I'm making progress, but then showing yourself that you're making progress. And then by doing that, having a way of being able to see like, oh, I'm actually moving. Because as guys too, we'll also beat ourselves up and think that we should be a lot further along than we're supposed to be. So you have anything else you want to add on that?
The biggest thing we can close on is the accountability part of it, because we can talk about the point system and we can talk about all these other things, all this structure to set you up for success, but you're going to let yourself down. A lot of times you're going to let yourself down because you're like, oh man, who's watching? I'm behind closed doors. But if you've got brothers around you, they're going to ask you, like, I work closest to you than any of those other guys in the GA. So I know if that weekly call we get on there, it's like, what's going on with Christian's core 4? Why is he not getting the door? I work for you. You know what I mean? If I'm not getting my door and keys done, it's like, well, he's not doing what he needs to do on that side of things. And so that right there, I'm like, man, I'm not going to be that guy.
Well, vice versa. Like, yeah, I can't have guys that are scoring better than me every week. I can't be at the bottom of that. So like, I've got guys that are depending on me to show up and do what I said I was going to do, so I can be that lighthouse for them, so they can see like, oh, well, he's showing up and he's showing me what is possible. And then by doing that, now that's like, it helps them see like, okay, well, it is possible to be done. 'Cause I mean, like, let's be real, man. I got 3 businesses here. Like, we got a staff full of individuals. I got my wife that's wanting me to stuff things from me, my son. Like, there's a lot, and you could be spread out and it could feel like a lot. And so like, I 100% can see where men can kind of lean on these ways of living that aren't necessarily serving them, whether that's eating, drinking, or whatever it is that they're doing to kind of just get a little bit of release of stress. And I've been that guy. At the same time, I know that guy was not living out his full self, and he wasn't being the man that God created him to be. And so it was a decision that I made that was just like, hey, I don't have to be perfect, but I'm going to show up every single day, and I'm going to do the things now that I need to do that are going to set me up. But I'm also going to do things that others won't do, so I can do things that others can't do later on. So then when they see me and I walk in the room, they're like, damn, that dude's got it together. Like, what's he doing? That fires me up. Like, I walk into the room and like fit, have my wife who's next to me, my son who's next to me, my businesses are thriving, my staff and we're running together and we're building things together and we're doing a Bible study and we're doing all these things. It's like it all starts with me though. If I don't show up and do the things, then I can't show up for you. I can't show up for Courtney. I can't show up for Colton. I can't show up for anybody else and do anything else if I don't take care of number 1 first. And so I think that's the how we end it is, yeah, you need to have accountability. Yeah, you need to have faith. Yeah, you need to take care of your body. Yeah, you need to take care of your relationship with your family and your with God and all these things you need to do. But at the same time, it all depends on you. It all depends on what you're putting in your mouth. It all depends on what you're putting in your ears and what you're putting in your eyes. The things that you do behind closed doors are either going to make you or they're going to break you. And the cool thing about this is you always get a decision. You get to decide today, I listen to this, and now I'm going to shift and I'm going to start making a little bit of a change. And the cool thing is you can hit me up right now and you can message me. Mine is on Instagram, Seth P. Humphrey. You can message me, and you can go even to my bio. And right now we're starting to give out the Bible stack as a PDF for you to start, and I deliver it with a video. And on the back side of that, April 4th at 7 a.m. Central Time, we start the first Relentless Faith online experience. It's something that I have no clue how it will work out. I know in my mind what needs to be done. I have the frameworks. I know what needs to be done. And I have the data that says, hey, these 10th grade boys that we lead, they're getting it done. These guys that I've laid it and given it to, they're doing it on a whole nother level. And and now they're coming to me and going like, Seth, this is so amazing. Like, I had Philip the other day hit me up and was like, man, what you've done. I'm like, bro, I haven't done anything. Like, you legit, I haven't done anything. You're just getting in the Bible every single day. And I tell you this, there are flat out, it's proven that men that get in the Bible, not just one day a week, not just get in the Bible every day a week, your life just changes. It just changes. you start to think differently. You start to look at things differently. And I'm always blown away by just how much wisdom is just in 5 to 6 verses.
Yeah.
Life lessons that you can actually take some wisdom from and then put into play in your life that you don't need necessarily. Like, I'd love to work with you. Like, I'd love for you to be, but that's what the directional piece that a lot of guys are getting now, where it's like, what do I need to start doing, stop doing, or sustain doing? And it's just laying right there in front of you, and you know what you need to do. Is it going to be done tomorrow? Maybe. But as long as you're starting to, like, you're going through that sanctification of just trying to get better and trying to learn and trying to improve, that's all that you're asked to do. If you're staying right where you are and you're expecting for something to change, and they're just going to be, oh, it was daylight savings time, it's just like, now I'm going to get 24 hours in a day. And it's like, yeah, like you have all the time that you want. It's ample time. How are you using that? Are you using it to your advantage, or are you using it to hold you back? And we all get that decision. So I would love to have you at the Relentless Faith online experience. How you're going to be able to get there first is go to my bio in the go to my bio on Instagram, Seth P. Humphrey. Go there. You're going to see a link. It's going to be the Bible Stack PDF. You can opt in on that. I'm going to send it to you immediately. I'm also going to send you a video. And on the back end, I'm going to invite you to come and join us on the Relentless Faith online experience. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be an experience. It's not about me. It's going to be me and other guys being there and getting in the Word together and finding the wisdom that we need to put into play to get the results that God ultimately wants us to have. He gave us dominion over every area of our life. He wants us to thrive. He wants us to show others what's possible. And that's what we're trying to do with this podcast. It's what we're trying to do with the online experience. And just across the board, it's just what we're trying to do with the GA and everything else too, the Vitality Meal and everything else too. So for Christian, you want to give your Instagram?
Bootrains_6, BOOTRAINZ_6.
And like I said, Seth P. Humphrey. Go there, go in my bio. We'll get you set up, and I look forward to it. So for Christian, myself, the Relentless Game, Turning Chaos into Power, we appreciate you. If you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Talk soon.